Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am your host, Josh Davis, also known as Crash. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2024, and I am here with the one and only Doug, Mr. Liver Punch, Red Sox fan, Bucks fan, whatever you want to call him, baseball expert. And we are so glad to be going over the 15-game slate for the MLB today. I believe it's 14 once you take away the first game that started with the Marlins and the Cubs. But a huge slate to go over, so we got a lot to cover. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk in the channel, if you would give us a like and hit the subscribe button. After you've done those two things, if you would hit the alarm bell, that will let you know when our newest podcast has gone live. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk, you'd like to join us and you'd like to join our Discord, you can send me a DM on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, and I'll be glad to get you in our Discord. We have memberships that start as low as $4.99 a week, or we have our MLB special, which for a little over $8 a month for the next 7 months, you'll get the entire MLB season, the rest of the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals, the first 2 months of the NFL season, and also PGA and any other sports that we cover. So it's a really good deal. DFS Coach Talk is a very family-friendly, very positive and encouraging community. So we hope to see you soon. Send me a DM on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So Doug, how's it going on this somewhat dreary Friday where I'm at? I don't know how the weather is where you are. Doug, you're on mute, bud.
Beautiful and sunny. Good to be here.
Beautiful and sunny. Okay, very good.
I'm sure I'm on mute.
You're not now. You were.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good. We can hear you. So you're good to go. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Our first game today is going to be at 6:40 p.m. Eastern. The Los Angeles Angels taking on the Cincinnati Reds.
Can you hear me now? Anyways.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Doug? Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Doug? Doug, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Crash, I just have a leg on my end. Yes, I got a leg on my end. Let me refresh.
Okay. All right. So while he's doing that, the first game today is the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Cincinnati Reds at 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Tyler Anderson against Nick Lodolo. The Reds are a minus 142 favorite at home. Game has an implied run total of 9.5 runs. 61 degrees, the wind blowing out at 10 miles an hour. Our next game is the Chicago White Sox and Philly taking on the Phillies, 6:40 p.m. Eastern as well. Garrett Crochet for the White Sox, Spencer Turnbull for the Phillies. The Phillies are minus 180 on the money line. Implied run total of 7.5, so expecting a lower scoring game here. With these two pitchers have been pretty solid so far this year. 59 degrees, wind blowing right to left at 10 miles an hour. Then we have the Boston Red Sox taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates in Pittsburgh. Brian Bayo against Quinn Priester. The Tigers. The Pirates are a minus 120 favorite on the money line. Over under of 8.5 runs. 61 degrees, wind blowing out at 10 miles an hour. Looks like I lost Doug, but I can add him back. Okay. You there with us, Doug? Doug, can you hear me? You hear me, bud?
I'm here.
You hear me? Can you hear me? You can see me, but you can't hear me. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Doug?
I can hear you and see you.
Okay, good deal. All right, so so we have the Pirates hosting the Red Sox game. I'm sure you're going to be watching in Pittsburgh. Brian Bayo against Quinn Priester. Pirates are minus 120 on the money line, over under of 8.5 runs, 61 degrees, wind blowing out at 10 miles an hour. Doug, you're the Red Sox expert. Anything in particular about this game that you want to mention before we move to the next one? Doug?
Honestly, there's not that much to talk about in this game specifically that I want to mention, besides the offenses being a little challenged.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a pitcher park. It's very pitcher friendly. Anything in particular, the lineup?
Bello's also not been very good at pitching.
Okay. So you think the Pirates might pull this one out? So you think the Pirates might get this one, Doug?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next game, we have the Houston Astros taking on the Washington Nationals at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Justin Verlander against Mackenzie Gore. Astros are minus 142 favorite on the money line. 8 implied run total, 62 degrees, wind blowing, 9 miles an hour. Don't have a direction. That's kind of different, but 9-mile-an-hour winds. Next game is at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. The Tampa Bay Rays taking on the New York Yankees in New York. New York is a minus 175 favorite on the money line. Tyler Alexander pitching for Tampa. Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. Implied run total of 8.5. 52 degrees, wind blowing right to left at 9 miles an hour. Then at 7:10 p.m. Eastern, the Oakland A's taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Joe Boyle against Tristan McKenzie. Guardians are minus 162 on the money line. 8 implied run total, 54 degrees, wind blowing left to right at 11 miles an hour. Next game is at 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers taking on the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. Andrew Heaney against Chris Sale. Atlanta is a minus 198 on the money line. 9.5 implied runs, so a pretty high run total here. 81 degrees, wind blowing left to right at 8 miles an hour. There's a 27% chance of rain. Then we have the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Kansas City Royals. Dean Kramer against Alec Marsh. Baltimore is minus 142 favorite on the road. 9 implied runs. 59 degrees, wind blows in at 8 miles an hour. Then we have the highest wind of the game in Minnesota. Detroit Tigers taking on the Minnesota Twins. Jack Flaherty for Detroit. Joe Ryan for Minnesota. Minnesota is a minus 155 favorite. 7 implied run total, lowest on the slate, I do believe. 40 degrees is the only thing here. So even though it's 20-mile-an-hour wind, it's only 40 degrees, so the ball won't carry like it would if you had warmer temperatures with that kind of wind. But that's the weather situation there. Then we have at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Kyle Gibson for St. Louis. Brewers minus 118 favorite on the road. 7.5 implied run total. 60 degrees with the wind blowing in at 7 miles an hour. Just real quick here, not a whole lot to say. Freddie Peralta has not been the best. I'm going to touch on that a little bit here in a little while when we go over our top plays and everything and our fades. But Peralta hasn't been the best against St. Louis, particularly in St. Louis for whatever reason. So keep that in mind. Nolan Arenado has done very well against him, so you do want to look at him today. On the Brewers side, Willy Adames has some pretty good numbers against Kyle Gibson, and I'll keep it moving. Seattle Mariners taking on the Colorado Rockies in Colorado, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Seattle's a minus 135 favorite on the road. 10.5 implied run total, so obviously, as you might expect, in Coors, the highest run total on the slate. 69% chance of rain, however, so there is a decent chance this game gets rained out and postponed. 38 degrees only, wind blowing at 11 miles an hour. Then we have the night slate, which is Toronto taking on San Diego at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Yariel Rodriguez for the Blue Jays, Matt Waldron for the Padres. Toronto's a minus 112 favorite on the road. 8.5 implied run total. Wind blows left to right at 8 miles an hour, 62 degrees. 10:10 p.m. Eastern, the New York Mets taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in L.A. Sean Manaea against Yamamoto. The Dodgers are minus 198 favorite at home. 8.5 implied run total. 59 degrees with the wind blowing out at 6 miles an hour. Last game of the night, Arizona Diamondbacks in San Francisco. Jordan Montgomery for the Diamondbacks, Blake Snell for the Giants. San Francisco is a minus 125 favorite at home. 7 implied run total, one of the lower ones on this slate. 57 degrees with the wind blowing out at 9 miles an hour. So I know that was a lot to cover. Anything in particular about any one of those games that stands out to you on this slate, Doug?
Well, I guess the first thing that I noticed when I was going over the games was the Twins game, the wind's blowing out like 20 miles an hour possibly.
Right.
But it's going to be cold out.
Yeah, 40 degrees with the wind blowing. That's really cold. That's really cold, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be, with those kind of temperatures and the wind.
Yeah, and then the next thing I wanted to mention is you touched on Freddie Freeman.
No, I said Freddie Peralta. I'm pretty sure I said Freddie Peralta.
And I think that he's done a lot better this year. Oh.
What was that? Did I lose you?
I meant Freddie Peralta, but he's a lot better at pitching this year than he has in the past.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In his last game that he pitched in St. Louis was his best one yet against them. But still, he only had like 37 fantasy points, which for his price, that's not anywhere near what we need. So I think that, yeah, he's definitely done better, though. I mean, he's definitely become the ace, the number one pitcher, obviously, with Corbin Burns leaving and Brandon Woodruff hurt. But, yeah, he's definitely done better. It's just that for whatever reason, specifically Nolan Arenado has really been giving him trouble. So, but we'll get into it here with our pay-up pitchers, starting with my pay-up pitcher, Joe Ryan. He's 8,900 on DraftKings, 10-2 on Fanduel, $47 on Yahoo. He just faced Detroit last Saturday in Detroit, and in that game, he pitched 6 innings. He allowed only 1 run. He had a career-best 12 strikeouts in that game for 55 fantasy points. So he's my top pay-up pitcher. Who is your top pay-up pitcher today, Doug?
My top pay-up pitcher today, you already stole mine, so why don't I just throw another one into you besides Joe Ryan? I guess the next guy I would pay up for would be Yamamoto. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, I like Yamamoto. I do. Anything in particular that you like about him on this matchup with the Mets?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he'll throw about 6 solid innings.
Okay.
And then he's also in a pretty good park to pitch in.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Then we'll go to our value pitcher, which the only value play I really found that I liked was on Yahoo. No other site where he's this cheap. But on Yahoo and Yahoo only, Tristan McKenzie is $30. So he's a good value over there. He's pitching at home against the A's. They have the second highest strikeout rate this year at 27.4%. He's averaged 38.3 fantasy points in his 3 starts against the A's. So I do like Tristan McKenzie at home, only on Yahoo. The other sites on DraftKings and FanDuel, his price is probably about where it should be, maybe even a little bit higher. But for his price on Yahoo, I think it's a really good value. Any value that you like in particular, Doug?
Well, there are a couple pitchers I did want to touch on, okay?
Okay.
The first one would be, I do like Flaherty. He's fairly well priced. He's a little more expensive on FanDuel. So I would say Yahoo and Draftkings, I do Flaherty.
Okay.
And then Matt Waldron and Uriel Rodriguez would be great pivots or very cheap plays on DraftKings.
Okay. What's their price on DraftKings today, by the way? I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah. The thing about that is I cannot find the prices at the moment. I can look it up. I know like Rodriguez is like $5,600.
Okay. I'm looking it up right now, actually. So, 1 second. So Matt Waldron is 7,800 and Rodriguez is 5,000. So he's the cheapest on the slate. That's pretty interesting.
Right. And
yeah, so
the one thing I like about Rodriguez is that he does throw a lot of sliders. And because he does throw a lot of sliders, because he does throw a lot of sliders to the Padres are not very good against the slider. And for that, he can pitch 5 innings. He's going to be a remarkable value.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. So my fade pitcher is going to be Freddie Peralta. Like I said, just because of how he struggled in St. Louis for whatever reason. I actually saw him a couple years ago. My dad and I went and saw him start there, and he struggled in that game too. So just something about that roster, that lineup, that's given him trouble in the past. I know it's a little bit different lineup now, so we'll see how that affects him. But I think Tyler O'Neill may have done some damage against him too. But I know Nolan Arenado did, and like I said, he's the most expensive pitcher on FanDuel and Yahoo, the second most expensive on DraftKings. So I just don't like the value for his price, the way he's pitched against them. He very well could have an awesome game and be one of the top pitchers on the slate, but he's also priced up that way. So he is going to be my fade pitcher for the day. Who would be the pitcher that you would look to fade today? If you don't have one, it's okay too. It's not a problem.
Well, I have several pitchers I'm going to fade today. One is Freddie Peralta. His price is too high. There are too many good bats to get to. Second would be Boyle. Third would be Snell. He's not in form yet. Fourth, McKenzie. His velocity's down. Control's not there. He's going to get hit even if Oakland. And finally, but last would be Marsh.
Alec Marsh. Okay. Yep. Yeah, he's going against Baltimore, which I know he pitched them. That was in Baltimore at the beginning of the year, right? Didn't he pitch them in Baltimore earlier this year? Yeah. And he had a really good game, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he struggles. I mean, that Baltimore lineup is just hot, so they've been on a tear. I like that call. All right, so now we'll look at our BVP play of the day, which mine is Mookie Betts. He's hit 345 and 29 at bats against Manaea. He has 3 singles, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. So are you going with Betts as well, or do you have somebody else for BVP today?
Well, I had BVP by 2 guys. I wrote down in case you took mine. Best, which you did take mine. The other one I'm looking for would be Seth Brown.
Okay. Any numbers that you have on Seth Brown?
Two for 7 and 2 home runs.
3 for 7 or 2 for 7 and 2 home runs?
Two.
2 for 7. Okay. All right. And my home run call, I only have one. I don't know how many you have. I only have one for the podcast today, and that's Mike Trout. He has 8 home runs this year. He has yet to hit a home run against a left-handed pitcher, and I do think he hits one out today in the Great American Small Park, famous for allowing home runs. So I do think Trout hits a home run today.
Yeah, I actually have 2 home run calls from the same team. One would be Cowser, and the other one would be Anderson, both from Baltimore.
Okay. Colton Cowser, and who was the other one?
Gunnar Henderson.
Henderson. Okay. Yeah. Gunnar Henderson. I thought you said Anderson. That's what was throwing me off for a second. Okay. So Colton Cowser and Gunnar Henderson are yours. Gunnar Henderson. And then mine is Mike Trout.
Anderson.
Yeah. That's okay. Gunnar Henderson. And then for my stacks, I have the Dodgers, the Braves, the Reds, and my GPP stack is the Guardians. Who do you have for your top stacks today?
Top stacks would be the Braves, Mariners, Baltimore, New York, Colorado.
I'm assuming that's the Yankees, and then Colorado.
New York Mets.
Oh, the Mets. Okay.
Just so the New York Yankees.
I was about to say, I was surprised because I knew you liked Yamamoto today. So, all right. So the Braves, the Mariners, the Orioles, the Yankees, and the Rockies are your stacks. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So then we'll go to our PrizePicks plays of the day, which if you're new to PrizePicks, I don't know how you could be at this point. I think everybody's playing PrizePicks. But if you are new, you can join PrizePicks using promo code CoachTalk, all one word, and they will 100% match your first deposit up to $100. So for my PrizePicks plays of the day, I'm going to go with Mookie Betts more than 1.5 total bases. I like Ellie De La Cruz more than 7.5 fantasy score. And I like Toronto and San Diego. The Rodriguez-Waldron matchup that we talked about quite a bit today, less than 0.5 first inning runs allowed. So those would be my top PrizePicks plays. Before we get out of here, Doug, anything else that you want to add for our viewers today?
No, I think I'm actually pretty good. I don't know what's wrong with my sound. It's like delayed about 4 seconds. It's the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah.
So I'll get that fixed for next time.
It's okay. I just have to pretend like we're on an international trip and I'm talking to an interpreter or something. It's just it's a slight delay.
I will say this also though with betting. With such a large slate, I might bet a little less and a little more tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that totally. Oh, yeah, we totally did not do our Fanduel GPP lineup. So we're going to give out a free Fanduel GPP lineup. I know we have this delay that we're working with, so it might be better actually, Doug, if you just type in your plays in the chat. So I'll go ahead and I'll give you the first pick, and then I'll pick mine, and then we can just do it that way since we got this delay going on. And then I'll repeat whoever you put down so our viewers know who it is you're picking.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I will let you have the first pick, Doug. So when you're ready, go for it. And this is on FanDuel. His first pick, he went with Gunnar Henderson.
Shortstop.
He went with Gunnar Henderson at shortstop. I am going to take They don't let you put Mookie in the outfield anymore. I'm going to take Mookie Betts at second base, so we're going to have to spend down at pitcher probably.
No. Second.
Yeah, second base, I got Mookie Betts.
Okay. We got this, Crash. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know we do.
Sure. Get you out of here. I'm just looking to see what we're going to do now.
Yeah, there's a lot of games, so there's a lot of options, that's for sure.
No, let's save some money. Let's go Seth Brown in the outfield.
Okay, I like it. Oh, yeah, 2,200. Nice. Very nice.
2,200.
I talked about it during the podcast. I'm going to take Nolan Arenado, 3,000, third base. Yep, got Seth Brown in the outfield. Ryan O'Hearn, first base or utility?
O'Hearn. First.
Okay.
Also, it's outfield eligibility, but let's put him on utility or first.
Oh, he has outfield. Okay, that's new. He didn't have that or at least he doesn't have it on. I don't think he has it on Draftkings. Let's see here.
Yeah, quite flexible. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, Churio's batting ninth today for Milwaukee. That's surprising. I'm not taking him. That's just an observation. Let's go JJ. Let's go JJ Bleday in the outfield.
Who's starting pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers tonight?
Peralta. It's still Peralta, right? Yeah, Peralta's pitching. So I went ahead and took JJ Bleday in the outfield. He's batting third ahead of Seth Brown.
Okay, we'll get back to the lineup here. Josh Rojas. Oh, you already got third base filled.
You could put him in utility if you want. If you want to put Josh Rojas in utility.
Mullins, 3,100 the outfield.
Mullins, okay.
You want to see more money?
Yeah, I'm going to go super cheap with this pick. So 1 second here. Let's see if there's anyone leading off at 2,000. Austin Slater, 2,200 outfield. He's projected to lead off for the Giants. That leaves us with 10,800. We can pick any pitcher we want, including Joe Ryan.
Crash.
Yeah. Did you say who you wanted to pick for a pitcher? Doug, did you pick a pitcher? We got 10,800 left over, so we got plenty of money.
Yeah, 1 second, Crash.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay.
So, yeah, we got...
I was looking at him. Oh, you also have Slater leading off.
Yeah, I picked Slater for utility, and all we have left is pitcher, so I was leaving that up to you. Should we go with Joe Ryan, you think? Doug, you there?
Oh, what we got left again?
10,800. So we can pick Joe Ryan or we can pick whoever, really. The only one we can't pick is Peralta. He's 11,200. Okay, so we'll pick Joe Ryan. All right. So reading it back, we got Joe Ryan at pitcher, Ryan O'Hearn at first base, Mookie Betts second base, Nolan Arenado at third base, Gunnar Henderson at shortstop, Seth Brown in the outfield, JJ Bleday in the outfield, Cedric Mullins in the outfield, and Austin Slater as a utility. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed our podcast today. Sorry about this delay. We'll figure that out for our next one. Hope everybody has an awesome Friday. We will absolutely crush it. And we'll be back again next week as we do look to crush it in MLB, DFS, and PrizePicks. Thank you and have a great day.